Welcome to the Backroads of the Bluegrass, where Sherman and I head to the western part of the state to explore western Kentucky. This was very exciting because we had never been to that part of the state. But the problem is we went to so many places that I couldn't put it all in one episode just because it would be so long. So this episode only features the campgrounds that we visited. So there's going to be other episodes, so stay tuned. So the first campground we visited was Canal Campground. It was on Lake Barkley, and let me tell you, it was wonderful, and I'll explain more in the video. Then we moved down to Birdsville Riverside RV Park. Absolutely a beautiful place as well. So I cannot wait to share our adventures with you. And like I said, don't forget to watch the other episodes. It's going to be great. First things first, Sherman and I go to church. Then after church, you know me, I have to eat. So of course, I get the pork chops because Glasgow has the best pork chops. I'm telling you, it's good. Then he loaded up the camper and we head to western Kentucky. So we're on the road and all of a sudden Sherman decides he's going to pull over and turn the camper around. So I looked back and I seen a gas station and I was thinking, oh, he probably needs to go to get gas. I wasn't questioning him. So he turns that camper around and pulls into the gas station, but gas was not what he was wanting. There was a yard sale. I got so tickled because there is nobody that I know that would turn a camper around for a yard sale, but Sherman did. And he got some really good stuff. Now, you all know I'm an Eastern Kentucky gal, and I don't see a whole lot of flat ground. So we were riding down the road, and I looked over and saw this plane in this cornfield that was water in it. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And then it started to land on a truck in the middle of the field. Now listen, I think this was the coolest thing ever. It don't take much to amuse me, but this was pretty daggone cool. And here's just a couple of places that we saw along the way. Barkley. have finally arrived at the Canal Campground on Lake Barkley, and look who welcomed us, a deer. How cool is that? The drive to the campground was just beautiful. Sherman checked us in, and then we had to see where our spot is. I have to say, the spot that Sherman picked was perfect. It was on a loop, and there wasn't very many people on that loop, maybe 6 people, and it was facing Lake Barkley, and it was just a beautiful spot. It was a pull-through spot, so it was easy access. It doesn't have full hookups, but that's just little things. It was beautiful. Here we are setting up the camper. Here's just the view from our camper. Look how beautiful. Once we got set up, of course we had to explore the place. So we walked down to the lake and look how beautiful it is. I mean, it's breathtaking. And look at these shells that was on the shore. It was beautiful. So we saw this laying on the shore, and we had no clue what it was. And later on we figured out it was maybe a bone of the fish. I don't know, but I thought it was pretty cool. The far end of the campground, they had this seating area at the point of Lake Barkley where we was camping at the loop, and it was absolutely beautiful. We sat there for a while just watching the boats and just sitting there enjoying God's creation. And let me tell you, it was so peaceful. Now here's the picture of the bridge. On the other side of that bridge is the Kentucky Lake. So we was literally in the land between the lakes, between the Kentucky Lake and Lake Barkley. That's pretty awesome. After sitting there a while, we head back to the campground and we get in the vehicle to explore the rest of the campground, because Lord knows we wouldn't want to walk it because this campground is huge. So here's a video of the campground. Here is the map of the campground. It's a pretty big campground. Another thing we loved about it is you can watch the barges on the lake. It was pretty cool. And of course, the deer. In this campground, there was deer everywhere, and they wasn't afraid of you, so they didn't run away. You got to just watch them from afar off and enjoy them. We got back to the camper and we relaxed for a little bit, and I love this sign. It says, "I think to myself, what a wonderful world," because this was so peaceful and wonderful. You know, the good thing about camping is the good food. And so we had baked potatoes and pulled pork. Sherman had got some pulled pork from Glasgow, and we put it in the fridge for later, and it was great. One thing I can say is this campground was so peaceful. Didn't hear anything around but nature. Listen to this. This was the view from our camper. Look at this barge, how beautiful it was at night. Sherman had to get a closer look, so he walked down to the lake to get a better view. The one thing that I absolutely loved about this campground was the deer was everywhere. Look at this picture. It was right behind the camper. Look at this little beauty. Now it's time to pack up and head to the next campground. I have to say that packing up was so easy and we had it down to an art. Now we're off to the next adventure. Look at this drive on the way to the next campground. It is beautiful, and like I said, I'm an Eastern Kentucky gal, so I don't see a lot of flat ground. It was just fields and fields of corn and soy. It was just so pretty. We have arrived at Birdsville Riverside RV Park, and it is beautiful. This campground is family owned, and she was amazing. She met us, she got her golf cart, took us through the gate, showed us where it was, and that's another thing. I like the gate. You have to have a code to even get inside this campground. And as you can see, all the camp spots is on the Ohio River, and it is beautiful. And the owner put us in a spot where there were trees that would shade the camper, and let me tell you, this week was so hot, so we was very appreciative of that. She took that into consideration because we put the on and out one time. That was at the beginning, and then we put it up, and we didn't have to put it out no more because the shade of the trees. It was beautiful. Now it's time to set things up. Once we got everything set up, We lay back and relaxed. And what's so funny is while Sherman was sleeping, I snuck a picture, not realizing he did the same for me. It was so peaceful. We just sat there and we just enjoyed it, and it was pretty awesome. Here's just some pictures and videos of ships and barges and cruise ships that we saw at the campground. There's somebody standing out on the thing. Their canopy. Here's just some pictures and videos of our stay at the campground. They were given rain, so we decided to put the rug up so it didn't get messy, and our chairs. I have to say the wind was pretty bad, and Sherman suggested that we go into the truck just to wait it out because of the trees that we was under. But look at the lake. It looked like it was running the opposite direction just because of the wind. And look at my hair. We got in the truck and look, the storm broke up before it even got to us, so we didn't get any rain from it, which we was very thankful for. This was the calm after the rain. Here's just a little tour of the campground. Okay guys, I'm going to give you a tour of this campground. So here's a little playing area. There's some hammocks back there in the trees. Little sitting area. There's a place for the kiddos to play basketball. Walk back. This is a 4th of July weekend, so it's not very crowded, which is nice. It's a quiet area. It goes all the way up through there. We do have neighbors, but we are spread apart. If you want a good, quiet campground, get away from all the noise, this will be perfect. There we are. There's Sherman. And before we left, there was a barge. And so here's one last video of the last barge that we saw while we were staying there. Time to hook up the camper, and I have to say, overall this campground was amazing. It was so peaceful. We even got several channels just by the antennas. It was full hookups, and it didn't have Wi-Fi, but I have Appalachian Wireless as my cell phone carrier, and I had plenty of a service, and it was great. If you're looking for a place just to get away, to a peaceful place, there's not a whole lot to do here. But like I said, if you just need to come and hit the reset button, this is the place to do it. So if you're in the western part of the state, visit Birdsville Riverside RV Park. It's great. It's family owned, and I highly recommend it. This is what the Backroads of the Bluegrass is all about. Get out, explore this beautiful state that we live in. There's places everywhere that you can go, enjoy yourself, and not spend a whole lot of money. And I'm telling you, both these campgrounds was amazing. So at the end of this video, I'm just going to show you some pictures and videos of the beautiful, beautiful views that we experienced on our vacation. Here is a beautiful pier that was right behind us, and we loved it. Thank you for watching this episode of the Backroads of the Bluegrass, where we showed you 2 amazing campgrounds that we had a wonderful experience with. But don't forget to stay tuned. There's going to be more of our adventures of exploring Western Kentucky. See you later.